this is a training exercise for primary and secondary lymphedema. So I'll let Amanda take it away.
Well, thank you so very much, Diane, for that wonderful introduction. If you don't know me, my name is Amanda Sobey, and I do best when people talk back and interact with me. So please don't feel like you can just sit on the other side and get a free fitness class. I enjoy when you participate. I feel you guys get so much more knowledge and benefit, which is the whole reason why we do things like this for you guys to learn, to learn what's safe, be effective, and just get a better, I guess, perspective on what fitness actually does look like. I think most people understand that movement moves the lymphatic system, but my whole thing is muscles push that lymphatic system. And I've been in the gym for years and years and years, and I've never really found people doing proper technique. And it's the proper technique of training your muscles that really separates you from getting really great results versus just wasting a lot of time and effort and energy, which I'm pretty sure none of us have an abundance of any of those. So if you have questions, please do pop it in the chat, be interactive, get involved, or raise your hand so we know to call on you if you have some questions. Today, what I have prepared for you, it's a very introductory seminar or training session for movement. I'm going to take you through some stretching exercises, teach you some points there. Most of this can be done seated in a chair for those people who can't move or get around. So it's very basic, whether you can move or not move. Please do join in. You can always do something. And then I'll focus on some upper body techniques for our arm lymphies and then some lower body techniques for our leg lymphies. And I'll just give you tips all throughout that you guys can hopefully learn and get better at. And last but not least, we're going to have some fun. So if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong, in my opinion. So if you please stand up with me, if you can. If you can't, stay seated in your chair. We're going to just start with some very basic clavicle clearage, right? Again, clear out that fluid from that chest. Take those fingers and just swoop. I've seen lots of different techniques. I've seen therapists do a push from inside to outside. I've seen this sweep in. Again, I'm not your CLT. Do it the way how your CLT has trained you. My belief is any movement is better than no movement at all. So don't be scared to touch yourself. Okay, we're now going to take our head and we're going to do some 360 circles. If you can, take the head, keep it super loose, and we're going to just rotate in one direction. And if you notice how slow I'm going, this isn't crazy. You're going to hear some kinkles and you're going to hear some pops. That's totally normal. If you have like a crick or like a knot in your neck, push into that muscle. It'll help to release some of that tension. If you have a hard time going all the way back, stay within your zone that feels best to you. Again, anything that we do, yes, I said do, anything that we do is at your own ability and your own pace. Reverse that direction. Nice and slow. This is starting to feel good. All that tension is fading away. And then head back up to center. We're going to take our head on top of our neck and we're going to shoulder check. Looking to my left, your right. And again, you can do your manual lymphatic drainage to up the jawline, down the back of the neck. If you do this properly, you should start to swallow. Look at that. We're stretching and manual lymphatic drainage. You can tell your therapist you're the best. Back over to the other side. Switch over the opposite direction. And again, up the jawline and down the neck. You will notice with my style of training, I try to do as many things as I possibly can in the shortest period of time. So let's get cracking. Take this one ear and drive it to your shoulder. Take the opposite hand and physically reach for that gold bar down on the ground to emphasize that stretch along your neck. This one feels good. You can get that sigh of relief. I know everyone loves this stretch. I get it. It's a good one. Pause and hold that pressure. Come back up to center. Take your other ear to the shoulder and push down, reaching for that gold bar to emphasize your stretch. Everyone had such a busy day. We're feeling better now. You're welcome. Come back to center. Take those shoulders, squeeze them up to your ears and pinch and pinch and pinch and pinch and pinch and pinch and squeeze. Roll those shoulders around, back and down. This is what I call proper posture position. Your shoulder joints want to sit in what I consider a cradle for your shoulders. I'm not talking about the shoulders pinned back like this and pinching through the scapula. I'm talking about those shoulder joints that sit down and wide. They'll sit into your back muscles, almost kind of on top of your hips. You are responsible for holding this position. You can sit like this while driving a car, at your office desk, and especially when you come train with me, okay? So this is what I want you to do all the time. Let's take our fingers, drive them into the center of our abdomen, get some big truncal clearing breaths in here, big breath in. Drive those fingers, keep pushing into your spine as you clear out that lymphatic system. Exhale out as those fingers continue to drive on in. Oh, are we having a good time? Who thought fitness was fun? Jeez. 2 more times, big breath in. Clamp it, push it, exhale it. 3rd time's a charm. Big breath in, clamp it, and then exhale. Beautiful. You can move your fingers around if you have more abdominal swelling. Again, I'm just doing the basics here. Take this shoulder and let's turn it around a couple loop-de-loops backwards. Again, each shoulder I'm working separately. Reverse that direction. As we get older, we are injured. We don't move the same from the left side and the right side. Pay attention to this movement with that ball joint socket, and let's reverse it on the other side. There we go. Again, this helps to clear that lymph system. Reverse that direction. I have another tip for you today. You will hear me command you at some point in time throughout our training to keep that core tight. You have a muscle right across your pelvis called the transverse abdominal. When I ask you to keep your core tight, you're going to take this muscle and you're going to pull it to your spine. So squeeze from the belly of the very bottom of that abdomen, pull it in and bear down into it. This is another life hack. If you don't like doing sit-ups and if you want a really nice tight waistline, play with this muscle. Pull and release. Pull and release. Why do we do this? 1, it supports your lower back. If you have back problems, strengthen the belly. 2, it clears your lymphatic system, which we all need to get that excess fluid to get out of and into the proper parts. 3, it gives you a nice tight waistline. So if the one reasoning wasn't good enough for you, I've given you 3, and you can play with this muscle while you drive your car, while you wash your dishes, while you sit there and watch TV. While I'm talking to you, I'm playing with this all the time. Nobody has to know, but the better that you get at keeping your core tight, it's the center for how your whole entire body does move, okay? Get those feet shoulder width apart now. If you're sitting in a chair, you're clearly not going to encourage the lower body. What we're going to do is keep our core tight. I'm going to paint a rainbow over my head. And then I'm using this back muscle as I push into the ceiling. So almost like a cross-body stretch. If you are compromised in the arm, you can do some arm lymphatic drainage from the armpit to the groin. If you're my leg Lymphie, you can go from the groin up to the arm. If you are just getting movement, again, some movement is better than no movement at all. Exhale to release. Big breath in. Get those big breaths in, push the back into the ceiling, and continue to do your manual lymphatic drainage. How are we feeling? Do I still have everybody here? Yeah, so far so good. I see at least 3 smiles. So I think we're doing good. Exhale to release. Here's another tip. I'm all about tips. When we bend over, people will round their shoulders, hunch their back, and go this way, putting a lot of pressure on your back. If you didn't know, your hips hinge, like how a piano kind of cover moves up and down, or like a fence and a gate post, they move. You want to learn how to hinge your hips. The other thing too is that when I'm hinging my hips, I'm pushing my heels into the ground. So my heels are pushed into the ground, my shoulders are rolled back and down, my core is nice and tight, and I'm pulling my bum to push behind me as I do a straight leg hang. Ooh, I think my camera is too tall. You guys are going to just stay down there. Now, when we're stretching, you guys, you want to be comfortably uncomfortable. You want to be comfortable enough that you can hold the pose, but uncomfortable enough that you can feel those muscles kind of nag at you and start to relax. As you know, we're down here. Let's do some manual lymphatic drainage. Take those arms and just massage those legs. So again, we're getting that hamstring stretch, that gluteal stretch, and we're moving some fluid. Exhale to release, come all the way up, big breath in. We're gonna go straight up. Pretend you're reaching the sun right above your hands. Spread out that spinal cord, keep that cord tight. If you're fairly active and you feel confident, you can go for a slight back bend. But for just the regular person to stand up really straight and to stretch your spine, it's going to feel so good because gravity just pushes us down the whole time. Exhale to release. Shoulders roll back and down, core is tight. Push those booty cheeks back, and again, do that manual lymphatic drainage. Get those arms, massaging those legs up and down a couple of times. Exhale to release. One more time, come up. Push up into the sky, keep that core tight, as slight back bend if you feel comfortable. If you don't, just go straight up, no problem. Come back down to center, toe down, heel up, and then just take baby circles like you have a crayon on your heel, and you've got to draw baby circles. We're gonna go clockwise, and now we're gonna go counterclockwise. This one feels good. Again, get some mobility between those stiff ankles. My leg Lymphies, I know you love me now. I get it. Switch on over to the other side, and then reverse that direction. Took me years to be able to talk and do this, so you can give myself a round of applause. That is your head to toe stretching routine. That took 5 minutes. We had a great time, and do we feel better? Okay, this is how it starts. So for people who are saying, I have nowhere and know how to begin, stretching every morning and making that your thing for 5 minutes is a fantastic way to feel better, especially as we get older. Things seize up on us, like everything cracks and hurts. If you can get up and do this stretching routine, I think that's amazing. And I would highly encourage everybody to start there, okay? But for people who want just a little bit more information, let's start working on some upper body techniques. Do I have any arm Lymphies here? Yeah, we do. We got a couple. Okay, so first off and foremost, when you're training with arms, you obviously want to get this cleared with your therapist and your doctor before lifting any weight. But what I encourage for my clients to do is to do light body weight. I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm going to walk up to my kitchen counter here, pretend it to be, and we're going to do some very simple exercises. If you will let me know if you can't see me very good, sometimes the camera doesn't work as well as I had hoped. Yeah, that should be good. Okay, so this is my kitchen counter, okay? A kitchen counter or a bathroom counter. I'm going to teach you how to do a front plank exercise. And when people think plank, they typically get this picture of a person down on the ground, getting right down close. If you're just getting into your fitness career or you're just starting to get moving again, the best place to start is to practice the technique without much resistance at all, so it's safe. And that as you progress, you can obviously move down lower to the floor. So very quickly, when you're doing a plank, what muscles are activated is actually your chest. Many people will hold the plank in their shoulders or in their elbows and makes it very hard, or even in their neck. It always loves to go in the neck for some reason. Well, I know why. But for you guys, you might not know why. So it goes into all the places that you don't want it. So what I want you to do is you're going to walk up to your dresser of drawers, your kitchen counter, maybe even the back of a chair. I'm going to get my hands just shoulder width apart. So remember, you're not this big, right? You're yay big. So when you're walking up to your countertop here, your hands are shoulder width apart. And guess what? We're going to roll our shoulders back and down. We learned that in our stretching routine. So I'm going to roll my shoulders back and down. And when I pop my shoulders down and push my shoulders almost back, my chest will pop forward. Okay? Now, if you're standing there and you're like, I don't feel anything, stand longer. The famous last words, right? So I'm going to go kind of on a diagonal. I'm on my tippy toes with my heels up so I can kind of create some pressure. Roll the shoulders back and down pushing my shoulders back, and through the front of my boobs, you should feel the pressure take place. Okay, I'm gonna give 3 chances to perfect this, and I'm gonna get my camera maybe a little bit closer because I think some of this is getting missed in the video. Oh, I've lost my head. That's okay. But again, I'm gonna go on a diagonal, roll my shoulders back and down, and if you see, I have slightly bent arms, and my chest is pushing forward onto that countertop. Can you feel that pressure? Cool, hey? That's your chest. So while you're basting your turkey for Thanksgiving and you're thinking, man, I haven't gotten a workout, you can totally roll the shoulders back and down and push. If you're really, really good at this, you can also squeeze the belly to get that full trunk muscle activated. Your goal when you're doing fitness with me is to activate the muscles. Why? Why do we want to activate the muscles? Unmute yourself, Willa.
It moves the lymph really well.
You got it. So as you can see, I think most of you got like 20 seconds in and you're like, oh, I felt that. That 20 seconds of muscle push is clearing that lymph, okay? Let's take this one step further because push-ups seem to be like the world's worst exercise known to man. I'm going to give you a positive feeling with push-ups. We're gonna walk up to our countertop. We're gonna roll our shoulders back and down and press from that chest. You're gonna take your elbows and you're gonna pull them about 45 degrees away from the rib cage, still keeping that chest nice and firm, and then use that chest to push you back up to starting position. The biggest common mistake that I see with this is elbow placement. A lot of people typically put their elbows up high like this, activating the shoulder. Keep them to about here. This is your zone of operation, a very almost narrow chest press. If you keep it within this frame, you will feel very successful and very different because the entire time your push-up is on that chest. How does that feel?
Good.
When you're going into this, as you're lowering, you want to feel your chest pushing into the bar. Pause. When you're pushing, you want to feel that chest press away from the bar. The entire time your focus is always on the chest, where I'm guaranteeing you before was always in our flimsy little arms and our shoulders. Okay, pump from here, not from here. These guys are small and weak. These guys are big and strong. How cool is that? Do I get a thumbs up? I get 2 thumbs up. Okay, good. I'm doing awesome. Okay, so when you're practicing your planks and your chest presses, get that mind-muscle connection. Think about what you're trying to move before doing it. So a lot of people will go into fitness and they will see people work out on TikTok or Instagram, and they'll just like go and do all these push-ups. A lot of people aren't even thinking about the muscle. They're just using momentum to heave them up and down. Okay, there's a huge difference. People like us with lymphatic issues or lymphedema ladies, there might be some on this call, we need to be very, very conscientious of those muscles that we are activating because it's essential. Okay, we're not TikTokers, sorry. Well, maybe you are, I don't know. Okay, my last tip, because I want to make sure I'm conscientious of time. Can I get some water? I talk a lot. You guys can have some water too, because it does a body good. At any point in time, feel free to ask questions. Okay. Oh, there's a, what the heck? You can, oh, all right. There's no questions. I must be doing good. Okay. The next exercise that I want to do, and I hear doctors say this all the time, especially for my breast cancer survivors, don't lift more than 10 pounds. 8 pounds, I think, is where they go to be safe. I'm not encouraging my clients to lift heavy to start. But once you train the muscle to work really well, you can advance it as long as you're doing it safely and properly, okay? I'm going to take a dumbbell because I think a lot of people do bicep curls, okay? And I think a lot of people don't do them properly. So I'm going to show you how I like to teach them, and then maybe you'll do them the same way as I do. And again, if you have questions or if I'm not clear or if I talk too fast because I get really excited, just rein me in, you guys. I rely on you to keep me together. Okay, I'm going to get my dumbbells. When you're lifting, you always, always, always have to get set up for success. Amanda, what does that mean? Glad you asked. Okay, we're going to take our heels, push the heels through the ground. Shift your body weight to get away from the front and the toes. Shift it to sink on those heels and load into your bum. Your bum is the biggest muscle for a reason. It's there to anchor you and to have your skeletal system line up properly. If you use it right, use it properly, use it right. Heels in the ground, glutes are tight. I'm squeezing my bum cheeks. My core is tight. I'm pulling in my belly to support my lower back. I'm rolling my shoulders back and down. We learned that while stretching. I'm going to get my hands prepared to lift. My elbows, very important, you guys. Rest them on your rib cage. I don't want free-forming elbows. You get tennis elbow this way. So if you want tennis elbow, by all means, do it this way. But if you don't, keep them nice and tight, okay? Notice my hands. Look at how soft they are. They're very open. People typically will pick up a weight and they squeeze the weight. If you're squeezing the weight, all of the energy is here, not here. Okay, so very quickly, heels in the ground, glutes are tight, core is tight, shoulders roll back and down, elbows are on the rib cage, my hands are open. Now, to do the lift, get your brain to talk to the bicep. And from the bicep, not the hand, pull into the shoulder. Pause. Reclamp your contraction. Hold into your contraction. And you almost want to push the hands up as you're pushing down. Does that make sense? Let's do this again. Pull from the bicep into the shoulder. Pause. Clamp that muscle. Push the hands up into the ceiling as you go down. What you are now experiencing is your muscles pushing and pulling. Most people only do the pull when it comes to biceps. You'll see people go like this. Okay, the negative contraction this way is 4 times more powerful than this way, the positive. Why my clients are so effective is because I will teach you how to push and pull the muscle in both directions, which flushes out the lymphatic system and clears you out. Okay, let's get a set of 10 of these in because I think people are starting to figure this out and they seem kind of happy. Okay, shoulders roll back and down. Heels are in the ground. Glutes are tight. Core is tight. Elbows on the rib cage. 1. Pause. Push. Here comes 2. Pull. Pause. Push. I want you to count because I got to talk. If you have mobility issues, I do not need you to hyperextend. If you have elbow or arm issues and it's uncomfortable to open up past, let's say, even 90 degrees, this is where you start and this is where you stop. The extra stretch of the muscle is really insignificant compared to the pump of the muscle. As long as I can get you to pump up and pump down both ways, that's where you start. Your range of motion will most likely get better. The better that these guys get stronger, but I don't need you to do a full extension if it's uncomfortable. When you're training, you always want to stay safe. You always want to listen to your body. If you have a trainer, talk to that trainer, because if you're saying, ouch, this hurts, that might be a good key indicator. Either A, I need to modify the exercise, or B, we might have to train through that pain. it's really hard to understand which injuries that you train through and which injuries you leave alone. Okay, so that's why you kind of want to get professional advice. What number are you on, Sandy? 62. I think that's good. Okay. Overachiever. I love it. It's great. She works so hard for the BCLA. No wonder she's working so hard here. Okay. Did we learn some tips for our arms? We really haven't been doing very much effort. And I think we got a really good pump on between our chest and our biceps. So we've done chest planks, like active front planks. We've done push-ups, which we hate push-ups, but now we love. And now we've got biceps. So that's 3 exercises. If you guys are satisfied with arms, I'm going to switch to lower body. Is that cool? Do I have any questions, comments, concerns? Obviously, my camera's on sideways. Everyone seems to be happy. So I'm going to go into lower body. Okay. I'm going to start with the basics just because I don't know where you're at. So if you have bad knees, which I think is like the entire population, it seems, I'm going to go back to my kitchen counter where my sink is, so to speak. Okay. You want to be able to hold on something. If you're in the basement and you have like the old style school teleposts or something to hold on to, that works really well. TRX cables. If you're at the park, holding on to like a park bench that's cemented into the ground works fabulous. Basically hang on to something that's not going to give way. That's at about belly button height. We're going to learn how to sit down and stand up, which is an essential thing. As we get older, people will get really sore knees. The balance is really off. So it's really important. Just standing up and sitting down is what I consider a workout. And because if you go pee every day, you're going to get at least one workout in. So you're already going in the right direction. So again, I'm walking up to my counter. My toes are going to go and touch the cupboard underneath. So you should look kind of on a diagonal, such as this. This one's a hard one. Look it, I'm going to roll my shoulders back and down. I'm going to push my heels into the ground, and I'm going to pretend I've got a $5 million bill on my butt cheeks. Keep those butt cheeks together. From the squeezed butt cheeks, I'm going to pull my bum, squeeze and sit down as far as you feel like you can control it. Pause. Now from the bum, push up from the bum. Notice that my upper body does absolutely nothing. If you have weak legs, most people will use their arms to pull them up. That is a no-no. The arms are not allowed to this party. It's just those glutes to squeeze down, holding that $5 million bill, and those glutes to stand up. If you do this properly, your knees will not hurt. If you do this properly, you're going to be in your bum and in your hamstrings. If you're finding this hard, you should. Most people are very underdeveloped back here. So holding on to something and squeezing to push down and squeezing to push up and keeping the focus on your butt muscles is going to help you greatly. Who liked that one? Was that a good one? Yes? No? Did you find it hard? Oh no, she found it hard. Good. I'm glad you found it hard because you're learning something new. If I kept letting you do the things that you normally do, it's not going to help you. We're going to take this one step further because I think you guys are a smart class and we can get to the next level. I'm going to teach you how to do what we did on a chair. If you found level 1 extremely difficult, please stay there. If you found level 1 pretty decent, you stayed on the tushy, we're going to go to level 2. Try this out. You really want to develop a sense of control in your body. So if you didn't like level 1, but you want to give level 2 a go, you're the boss, okay? I'll let you decide. You all seem like pretty competent, capable people, okay, to make decisions. The way how we set up to do a sit down, stand up, or a squat, if you want to call it, the legs are shoulder width apart, just like how we had here. My legs are in a 90-degree angle. Very important. Do not have the knees over the toes, because then you're just going to fall into this and we're not going to be learning anything. So get those heels out. Okay, I'm going to take my hands to push up. Shoulders roll back and down. Heels are through the ground. I'm going to do, oops, I'm going to do this on a more, what did I just do? There we go. I'm going to do this on a more of an angle, you guys, so you can kind of see my butt muscles working. I know you probably were just begging to see my butt muscles working. I know you guys are like weird like that. Okay. Heels are in the ground. 90-degree angle. I'm going to push myself up. Shoulders roll back and down. Core is nice and tight. I'm sitting in my heels and my butt muscle is tight. Tight, 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 tight. Keeping my butt squeezed. This is hard. Pull the booty and keep squeezing to hold you to sit down. Use that booty as it's squeezed to push up. You really want to push into the floor. The more pressure you push into the floor, the more strength you're going to build and the more that you're going to get better at this exercise. Keep pushing down to China. Keep squeezing those muscles. And again, you're squeezing the muscles to pull and to sit down. You're squeezing those muscles to push you back up. Okay, if you find that there's a lot of jerking and you're using those arms and you're swinging and stuff, try to avoid the momentum. Try to only have your butt muscles act as rocket thrusters to squeeze you up and to push you down. How hard is that? This one is easier than the first one because you cannot hold on to the desk. I would agree. I would concur. So I'm glad that you tried both ways. I have had clients do really, really well at the kitchen sink, but then I've also had clients do really, really well on their own. I would emphasize it's really important to try to work with someone to watch your form. In your brain, we think we're rock stars and we're doing everything properly, but the result of it might not be exactly as the way how we see it. Or work out in front of a mirror. You know how we always think that those fitness people are just super vain because they always look at themselves? Well, they do. But they do it because they want to watch their technique to make sure that everything is stable and everything is exactly the way how we need it to be. Okay. So again, either start learning to watch yourself in the mirror or get someone that knows what they're doing so that you can perfect the technique. Again, I would assume if you've done this properly, your little tushy cheeks should be burning now. If they're not, then your muscles don't know how to fire. This takes time and it takes practice. It took me up to 7 years to get my chest muscles to work. 1, because I'm a slow learner. 2, I didn't take advice from anyone else. I do better when I learn on my own. So again, spending time to learn the technique, to learn how these muscles push and to pull is going to be a game changer for when you need to move the lymphatics. Okay. Let's do one more leg exercise to make it a round number of 3. So 3 arms and then 3 legs. I'm going to sit here and do some calf work with you. We're going to pretend that we're at the office. Seems like a lot of people are stuck at their desks nowadays. I'm going to take my chair and zoom out a bit. And again, you've probably noticed a lot of these exercises, you don't need equipment. You can do them practically anywhere, sitting down, standing up, at the office, watching TV. So I'm trying to get your brains to understand it's not a full 1 hour workout that you need. You just need to show up and do some of these exercises. So doing calf raises, I'm going to have my legs shoulder width apart. I'm going to pop up into my calf. So toes down, heels up. Cramp this calf, pinch this calf that it hurts. Hold that sensation and push down as you're pushing in. So most people will do the calf raise, but they don't do the calf push to come down. Okay, so making sure that those little muscles push and pull and pump and squeeze, ultimately clearing out anything that sits in those calves. Let's count to 10. because we did this for the biceps. So I'll count because I don't think I have anything else to say unless you guys have questions. Push, hold, and then squeeze down. There's 1. Push, hold, and down to 2. Here comes 3. Don't forget to breathe. You can sit here and keep your core tight as well too. We can multitask. I've got my calves pumping. I got my 6-pack flexing. I'm off to the races. This is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Woo! Make sure you always massage out your calves. If you don't, they could get pretty gnarly on you. But again, drinking lots of water, giving yourself some manual lymphatic drainage, or even just some self-massage to help work out that muscle, push any excess fluid out. Again, all these small little decisions make the hugest difference overall. And I hope today I've taught you something new. I've inspired you. I've got you to think a little bit differently. And I'm going to open the floor to questions. Anything with regards to anything you can think of, lymphedema or lipedema, I'm all yours. And don't be shy. So I'll pass the floor back to you guys. I'll come sit. I'm sure there's some questions. Allison, really good tips on form and technique. I really like the focus on the downsizing or the downswing for the biceps and the come down for the calf lifts. Never thought of that before. Yes, I am not overly surprised. Glad. So that's good. So, and every muscle wants to push and every muscle wants to pull. And I guess that's how I learned about it doing my bodybuilding, because we were forced to stand up on stage. And without any equipment at all, I needed all of my muscles to pop, right? And understanding how I could pop all muscles at all the same time, there was that aha moment of like, so that's what you mean. And I think it's so funny because there are coaches out there that might naturally understand it, but then it's a full-on different kettle of fish to teach it, right? Someone might do it properly, but they don't know how to explain it. And just thankfully, I guess I feel I have a knack with words. So I'm glad that you can figure out how to push and pull those muscles. What else? Come on, don't be shy.
Do you have any exercises for neck and face lymphedema?
Okay, so I would recommend, there's lots of people doing like face yoga. If you've seen that on YouTube, you can find really great tutorials on that. And then I'm also a huge fan of just manual manipulation, whether you use like gua sha rollers or like those massaging tools to help push fluid. But I would definitely recommend, there's also another woman that I came across so that she learned to isolate, like she's like 98 years old and she looks like she's 28, but she's learned to like isolate all of the muscles in her face. I don't know her name, but you might want to also look up like facial exercises to learn how to pump the muscles underneath. It's fascinating. I wanted to spend time learning that, but I do a lot of things and haven't had time to focus on that. So I hope that helped. Really great question. And for those of you who don't have face lymphedema, that face yoga and that facial muscle works really well for wrinkles and for age defying. So if you're interested, just go to Google. It's on YouTube.
If somebody's got facial lymphedema, a really good exercise is to go in the pool and do bobs up and down in the water, and also get yourself a snorkel mask and swim underwater. It works like a charm to sort of sculpt the face, and you may feel really grumpy while you're doing it, but it really does help. You know, I've got facial lymphedema, so that's one of the things. And there's a YouTube massage by Heather on facial drainage, and it's a really good one. So those are two I'd recommend.
Awesome. I love the us community. We all help each other out. Thanks, Willa. You're the best. She's always so full of good advice. What else?
So Leanne asked the question, is skin to skin contact best for manual lymphatic drainage, or is it equally effective with clothing on?
Skin to skin. If I heard of actually a therapist here in Manitoba only performing through the clothes. Please don't. You really need skin to skin contact. Yeah. And also too, if you're, I don't know if that question, I forget who asked that question. Is that skin to skin for you doing it or for your therapist to do it? You might want to chime in, but what I also want to emphasize is your lymphatic system does run through different layers of your skin. Okay. So light surface touch, deep tissue touch, myofascial release. I know skin rolling techniques. Our therapists are becoming so much more well educated to do proper techniques, and every person is different. So I don't want somebody to go and put themselves at risk. It's going to be dependent on your condition, where your lymphatics are compromised, how long you've had the condition. All of these different techniques are and can work for various individuals, but it's really important to make sure that your therapist is well qualified and can give you proper advice. But learning how to do massage, it's, again, if you're at home by yourself, do try to pay attention to what your body does respond to and what feels good. I remember at the beginning of my journey, I was yelled at all the time because it felt really good to get deep down into the fibrosis. It felt because I'm really compromised in my calf, so I pool a lot there, and it just feels so good to just dig down into it. That was very relieving for me. And now we're starting to find out that that you can go for different pressures for your lymphatic system. So hopefully that helped. But skin to skin. And using some sort of a carrier oil. Some therapists do just skin to skin. Some therapists may do oil. I think it's subjective, but I believe that the common way is just skin to skin, no oil at all. Mm-hmm.
Anyone else have
What
any
else?
questions?
Corey, were you just blowing me kisses, or what are you doing over there?
Can you hear me?
Sure can.
Okay. I came in late. Sorry about that. Where my lymphatic is, does it, when you have it in one spot, does it affect the whole body?
Like, can it travel to the whole body, or?
Well, just affect the whole body. Like if it's in a certain area, like does it make your like other body parts like swell up too, or?
Okay, not necessarily. One, it's really important to figure out if you're a primary or a secondary candidate. Okay, if you're primary, let's say you have primary in your left arm, you might develop it in the left leg because it's genetically passed down. However, if you are a secondary breast cancer survivor and it's in the left arm, the likeliness for it to appear somewhere else in your body that hasn't had surgery or radiation is pretty unlikely. So there's that genetic factor that can really determine if it can spread. I like to kind of think of, I'm a nerd, you guys, I'm really sorry. And I love botany. I like to think of like trees in nature and think of like a tree's root system. A tree's root system is very analogous or similar to our lymphatic system. A tree's root system might have like a fungus or a defect in the roots over here, but the rest of the roots are completely fine and untouchable. They will still function and they'll still be fine, and there's nothing wrong. Just because this area is compromised doesn't mean that the whole entire tree is going to turn out to be what that place is.
Okay.
If you know where you're compromised, I would spend more time on that area. But again, I'm huge on dry brushing my total body, even though I'm predominantly in my right leg. I still will do certain techniques that will benefit my entire body. So I'm right leg compromised. I spend more time massaging my right leg. But you know what? I'll massage my body because it feels good. I will work out and train my whole body because it's essential. But I think to answer your question, I feel like you're concerned that it's going to spread. And I don't think that if it's a secondary case, it shouldn't. It's kind of erroneous unless you've had trauma or something else to proliferate it in other areas.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's good. Thanks.
Yeah. What else?
Question from Carrie. It says, I have secondary arm lymphedema. Should I be doing these exercises with a compression sleeve?
Great question. Okay, so I'm going to go into why we wear compression, and I don't want the answer because I was told I was supposed to. Okay, I need to explain why we wear compression. Every time your muscle pumps, my skin also moves with my muscle. Okay, so if fluid is building on top of that muscle, which typically lymphedema does, every time I pump my muscle, my fluid has nothing to contain it, right? If I put a layer of compression and or bandaging, because bandaging is a bit more rigid than, let's just say, a circular knit garment, right? Between circular knit, flat knit, and bandaging, it's kind of a staged approach to compression. The more elastic a garment is, you'll still get to reduce that pathway for the fluid to go, but the more rigid the compression, the more restricted the pathway. Therefore, every time that muscle pumps up into the dermis or to the skin or to the bandage, it's only forcing that fluid to go out the other way. Does that make sense? Okay, yeah. So don't just think about compression as because I was told to. Compression is providing the extra support that your skin can no longer contain the fluid in. Okay, so anytime you have the opportunity to wear compression, please do so. You will also get better results by wearing your compression while you work out. Sorry.
That goes for swimming as well. If you have a sleeve that you've had for a while, swimming is really an excellent way of working out your arms. I have secondary arm lymphedema, and that's I was told, but I know that it works. So
yeah, 1 foot of water equals 22 milligrams of mercury. So if you're in 4 feet of water, that's 88 millimeters per mercury. I think it's preference to wear your compression in the pool versus not to wear compression. You can or you cannot. It doesn't really matter in my opinion. But if you do wear compression, wear your old, nasty, ratty ones so that if you tear them or degrade them, you're not getting the brand new ones that you just paid an arm and a leg for into a chlorine pool. Yeah, but it's preference. And yeah, swimming's the best. Another question that comes up commonly, what's the best exercise? My answer is going to be one that you enjoy to do all the time. Consistency and enjoyment for doing something outperforms any exercise, right? If you hate doing, Zumba, you're never going to go back to Zumba, right? If you hate doing certain exercises, I don't care if they're the best ones in the world, you're never going to get the benefits of it because that mindset of hating it so bad, the technique's going to be wrong, the consistency is not going to be there. It's just painful. Focus on what you enjoy to do. So swimming's fabulous. I love my weight training. That's my thing. Yoga's amazing. Pilates is good. Cycling, whatever you have a passion for is your thing. Yeah. Rowing. Can you explain what kind of dry brush is best to use? I have never done this technique. Well, you are just in luck. Whoops. I'm getting attacked by my desk. Okay, so dry brushing. Here's my skit. I've got my Lymphie box on sale, 50% off right now. That comes with Lymphology skin lotion that's designed by a CLT for people with lymphedema. You also get your dry brush, you get your exercise bands, your workouts, a 3-day meal plan already done for you. You get 2 free 1-hour consultations. So if you're wanting or needing some supplies and some extra help, you can go to my website at amandasobey.com. Sorry, I didn't know if I was supposed to take the plug, but I did it. So yeah, if you need help, it's amazing sale right now. It's going to end soon. So if you really enjoyed what I'm doing for you today, we can get deeper and I can help you further on past this point. But dry brushing, why do we dry brush? One, it really improves your circulation. It also helps to stimulate your lymphatic system. It helps to detox your body. It can help reduce your cellulite. You'll notice this brush has 2 sides. One side is a soft bristle brush. The other side is kind of a more nodule-y kind of brush. My lymphedema ladies really enjoy this one to work on those nodules or those pearls, okay? This side is the lymphatic stimulation side. Now, when you're brushing your skin, it's not a hard brush. Think of like a tomato skin. They're very thin and fine. What you normally do when you brush, I stand in my shower before I shower because I'm sloughing off dead skin. Again, I combine certain regimens together so I can stay consistent, makes sense. I shower every day, so I dry brush every day. First things first, you're going to open up those lymphatic systems, right? Open up those, well, 6 major points. So the armpits, right? The groin, wakey, 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 behind the knee, wakey, 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 okay? Now you're going to always start by clearing into that open spot. You want to pretend that your body is sectioned into quadrants of 4. So I'm cut into 4 different pieces. Everything from this quadrant will pull into this axillary region. Vice versa, everything from here will go into this axillary, and then I'll get to the legs in a second. So from your neck to that axillary region, you're just slightly brushing and sweeping up in. This has a handle so you can pull and drag around to that area. Sweeping into the site, working down the limb, nice and soft. As you notice, I'm not scratching myself. I'm not red. I'm not irritated. This isn't a hard brush. This is just a nice, light, dragging, stroking technique. Working down to come back up to where you first started again, okay? Switching over to the other side. For the belly, I always will sweep, lifting up the breast into the inguinal area, okay? In like little C-curve patterns. Using my brush from behind to pull forward. Okay? Keep going. And now that we're here into the leg, open these guys up. Sweep into them, working down the leg. I have a tutorial that does come with the Lymphie box. Hint, hint. All the way down, tops of the feet, underneath of the feet, working back up. Okay, that was a really quick tutorial. Biggest points, gentle. It does feel very good and invigorating. It also helps to exfoliate your skin, so your skin does feel like soft as a baby's bum. I highly recommend.
Great.
You're welcome, Leanne. What else?
Can you mention?
You guys have questions? Go ahead.
Can you? What's the site that we go to look that up?
AmandaSobey.com. So my first name and then my last name. I don't even know, is it spelled? Did I spell my name? I don't know.
I don't know where it is. Is it
okay? So Amanda, Sobey. Yes. Yeah.
.com.
You got it. Yeah. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram under am.sobey. So if you're looking, you can also go to like my Instagram page, which is linked, I think, to my website, I think. You can find me all different places.
Can I ask a question on, I never ever thought about wearing compression garments working out. And I have leg lymphedema also. How is it with like the Lululemon? I would just thought that was enough, but I guess I never thought about wearing my other compression underneath.
Okay, great question.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, Lululemons are not medical grade compression. No, they're just trendy and they make your butt look great. So that's great. You can do a couple of things. You can wear your compression underneath the Lululemons to get that added benefit. Or if you kind of want to break from them, I don't know what compression class that you're in, but you can find medical grade activewear that's 20 to 30 mmHgs. So you can actually ditch the other ones and go straight to the medical grade activewear lines. And they're great. I love them. I actually will do my regular compression with my medical grade because I'm kind of special like that. But it also depends on the season, right? Really hot days, lots of sweating. I might double up certain compressions, being mindful that I'm not going to collapse any veins, being mindful I can withstand that extra compression. But yeah, I tend to play with a lot of different compression companies for the purposes. So I hope that helped. Good question.
Thank you.
Do you want the names?
Yeah, I kind of do. I
Okay.
have my first Cal's appointment in a couple weeks. So
Okay.
didn't know that. Okay, ready.
Yeah. Okay, so Marina is probably my favoriteest. They're an American company, Marena.
Okay.
Okay. I know 2XU is actually they're non-medical grade, but they offer a very large, good variety. They're higher end compression. Lipoelastic has an active line. And there's one more that I'm drawing a blank on. I'll have to check my notes. If you want to send me a message through social media, I will. I have my list. It's been a very long day. It's just not coming
Thank
to the
you.
front of my brain. Yeah.
Great, thank you.
And or if you can't afford medical grade compression, or if you want to try before you buy, going into the sports stores that have cyclists, cycling gear, they always wear compression.
Okay.
Bike shorts are great for my abdominal lymphies or for my inguinal lymphies, right? They're a bit higher end compression, but they're not necessarily medical grade. So you want to learn the difference between medical grade and non-medical grade, and it's worth your penny. So hope that works.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Anybody else?
Have you come across any compression garments that are cooling? I find them so hot.
Yes, there's lots in the market.
Oh.
So when you're doing compression, we need to talk about different categories. There's daytime compression, there's nighttime compression, there's compression bandaging, and then there's compression pumping. Okay. Those are 4 different categories. If you're not familiar, it would be important to have a conversation. Okay. It also depends on what your condition is. Are you a lipedema lady? Are you a lymphedema lady? Are you lipolymphedema? And what stage are you at? Some cooling products there are some in the market, but they might only actually be effective for our stage 1 lippies or lymphies. If you're past that stage, I will not recommend the cooling phase. The good news is you can reduce your edema if you know what you're doing properly to hopefully get back down to a stage 1 or a 2 to take advantage of some of those products. If you're not at a stage 1, stage 2, then it does kind of minimize those cooling garments. But again, there are products in the market. I've taken the liberty of trying on absolutely almost everybody and everything. In my course, I offer a course where we do a full chapter on compression, and we actually go through all the manufacturers. You know, some of them will specialize in the tall and slim, some will do the short and stout, right? So when you look at compression, it's like jeans shopping. As a female, we've spent years finding the right brands that fit, right? So compression is the exact same way. And if you kind of know who does what and what they specialize in, it makes shopping a lot easier, but it also makes the quality of your care improve, because you're going to find products that are made to fit for your situation, and you're more likely to be more compliant.
Okay, thank you.
What else?
Any other questions out there?
So just to leave you guys off, because we are out of time, I believe, Diane. If you are needing more information and more specialized information, I do also offer free 15-minute consultations through my website. I have free downloadable resources on my website. I do have lots of free stuff to give away to you guys if you haven't linked up with stuff yet. And I also have various solutions and products and anything that you could want. I try to really work with everybody with where they're at. So if you found this helpful and you want to know more, again, hit me up on Facebook or Instagram, or send me an email. I'd love to hear from you. And I hope this was positive. I hope this gave you a new way to look at how to work with your body. And I hope you guys are in the gym tomorrow.
Or in our kitchens.
Or in your kitchens, making the turkey. Just call me over. That would be great. Thanks.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Amanda. This has been great. I think you've helped a lot of people that are online here, and we will put this up on our YouTube channel, so you'll get lots of exposure from other people as well, and the rest of our members that couldn't make it on tonight. So again, thank you very much for doing this. And thank you for everyone that joined tonight, and hope you have a good night.